I am back. I hope every one of you enjoy your Thanksgiving, and whether you went and had the traditional turkey, or you had ham, or you went and bought pizza, or if you were a vegetarian, you did the vegetarian thing, or heavens forbid, if you're a vegan, you did the vegan thing, or if you didn't do anything, just relax. I hope each and every one of you enjoy your Thanksgiving, your time off, time to spend with your family and your friends and your loved ones, unless you have state governors telling you how many people can come into your house and chill and all that. So anyway, mine was pretty low key. I had plenty to eat. I drank almost a bottle of wine, and I fell asleep afterwards, which was okay because I work graveyard shift and they needed me they needed me to come in a little bit later than usual in my shift. So I worked for a few hours and left and had breakfast, took care of a few little odds and ends here and there, and here I am, ready to share a video with you all. Okay, so let me get to the meat and potatoes of this. Are you familiar with One America News Network? If you're not, count your blessings on one hand. But if you're familiar, you should, even if you're not a fan of OANN, and I'm not, for the record, you should be concerned about what YouTube. Hope I won't get in trouble here on YouTube for saying this, but YouTube just suspended. They censored, but really they suspended OANN for 1 week because they're apparently spreading false information or fake news information about a cure for COVID. And the problem with that is, as I said, I'm on record. I hate that network. But if you're on the left, you should be incensed and angry what YouTube did. And when they're back on the air on YouTube, that is, they have to go through a process because when they come back, apparently they will be totally demonetized. And I said, oh, I find this problematic. Now, let me repeat myself before anybody comes to any conclusions of what I'm about to say and get the wrong impression. Please do not think that in any way, shape, or form I am a fan of OANN. My gosh, I hate Fox News as it is. I even hate frickin' CNN and MSNBC these days. So if you know me well enough, you know I'm going to despise OANN, One American News Network. Not only are they right wing, they are so far to the right. Talking about the One American News Network, they're so far to the right that they make the Young Turks. They make Fox News look like the Young Turks by comparison. That's how bad and too far gone that they are. They engage in conspiracy theories. They're basically a QAnon and Alex Jones mindset, but put in a very very presentable looking business suit or what have you, and polished for what they think a mainstream audience it should be. So that is my position. That I hate this network, and I'm still repeating myself, but I'm going somewhere with this. So anyway, problem thing about it is that I oppose OAN being censored, and I will tell you why. This is a propaganda win for the right wing. I mean, this is for a chance for One American News Network, and all the people that orbit around that mindset that act like we're a victim. They hate us. They're trying to silence us. It's basically a way for them to be snowflakes and cry victim status, which is funny because these are supposed to be the non-snowflakes, the ones who are like really macho and alpha, whether they're men or women. They're supposed to be alpha and they can take it and everything, and and the liberals are to be owned because they're just wanting their little safe space and they're just snowflakes and all that. And then they're the ones that act that way. And it really, really pisses me off how the right wing can accuse the left of being pro censorship and look like they're the ones that they're totally confident and tolerant and all of that. When given an opportunity, they will silence the left if they could. And I make no apologies for what I'm saying. And also, blaming the wrong source of people for the censorship. Now, is there a censorship mentality that exists on the far left, the left and the far left? Absolutely, absolutely. But let's don't pretend like conservatives and people on the far right of conservatism are all a bunch of free speech warriors. Many of them are not. Now, are all everybody on the left? Are they all pro censorship and pro silencing? Let me tell you, there is a fine free speech tradition that has long existed on the left. And although it has largely been evaporating and disappearing over the years, damn it, I am part of that left that favors absolute free speech, and I am unyielding. I don't care how much people will hate me on the left for being pro free speech. I am pro free speech, and I have to be. It's for our self preservation, it's our principle, and and it's just something that is very much a part of my leftism. When I got introduced to leftism, when I in the 1980s realized that I was a leftist. Back then, I was a liberal Democrat, or well, I was too young to vote, but I was, I was cheering the Democrats back in the days of Reagan. And then as I became old enough to vote, I started voting for the Democrats and became a partisan Democrat and a very obnoxious one at that. But I was a leftist. And then as I left liberalism and mainstream progressivism, I went and became a socialist. My support for free speech remained. And it remains. If there's one thing that has not ever changed about my politics over the years, it's my position on free speech. I am unyielding when it comes to free speech, and I make no apologies for it. I don't want to make it sound like it's all about me. But anyway, censorship is a slippery slope, and like for example, the ad apocalypse that took place in 2017. You know, where various progressives like David Pakman, Kyle Kalinske, the Amazing Atheist, many others, all of a sudden they they were demonetized and they had to go through alternative means to make continue to make their living off of most notably YouTube. And what it was I mean, yeah, it kind of go back to when the Wall Street Journal in 2017 talked about how PewDiePie making some comments that appeared to be anti-Semitic. Now, you're going to ask me what PewDiePie is all about. I have not seen a PewDiePie. Not I don't think I would care to see PewDiePie, but apparently he got demonetized for making comments that appears anti-Semitic. And prior to then, it seems like that YouTube was actually, covering all, paying for all content that was online and everything. So, anyway, what I understand about what happened with if these people were demonetized and they had to find alternative means. So, and the thing about it is that the left has faced um, discrimination and has been censored by some of the same nefarious entities that the right wing are claiming that has censored them. I'm no fan of Stephen Molyneux, nor am I a fan of Jared Taylor or Alex Jones or Richard Spencer or David Duke or Lauren Southern or any of those people. Despise them all completely. But here's the thing. I also despise the fact that a lot of these people got deplatformed and had their voices taken away from them. And as I said, I'm sure these people don't care what's happened to the left. Now, recently, Combo Couch had their channel suspended. I think it was like a day or two. And I know that we all know who Combo Couch is. Combo Couch is a program, a YouTube program on the Mikasa Sakasa network. Nico House's political news channel. And here's the thing: if OAN is censored, I'm sure that the people who love OAN, and even though they don't know who Combo Couch is, I'm sure that they probably do not shed any tears for Combo Couch being censored. But here's the thing: the same people that censor OAN also censor Combo Couch. And the Silicon Valley people. I've heard people like William Dean from Americans for Legal Immigration Political Action Committee, ALIPAC. I actually personally used to know this person because he was at one time kind of on the left before he went in his little alt-right direction. And he made a comment years ago referring to Silicon Valley as socialists. You are a political science major, William Dean. Do you know what the fuck a socialist is? Or you just want to go and sound like you go to the university to go and sound like a uneducated hick. Gracious alive. The controversies though, the controversies with banning, because it's not just progressive media and very controversial people on the right that gets either demonetized or wholesale wise censored and banned. There are movements out there, and anything out there like boycott, disinvestment, sanctions. The group that's calling for a boycott of Israeli products, the Israeli economy. That their various states are going around criminalizing BDS, and to the point where people can't speak on university campuses unless they sign a pledge to not boycott Israel. Or down in Texas, where in Texas, when there were hurricanes hit, in order to get hurricane relief, you have to sign a pledge that you will not boycott Israel. Now, what the fuck does a hurricane in Texas have to do with what's going on halfway across the globe? I mean, and this thing about Russia, when Donald Trump won in 2016 and Hillary Clinton decided it was the Russians, and then you got Rachel Maddow on MSNBC obsessed about the Russians, and everybody was all the Democratic hacks out there thinking Russia, Russia, That's kind of like the secular neocons and the Christian right in the Republican Party looking at Iran going, Iran, Iran, Iran. Newsflash, Democrats, newsflash, Republicans. The Democrats who fear Russia and the Republicans who fear Iran. Newsflash, Iran and Russia are in good standing with each other. They have diplomatic ties. I'm no fan of Russia. I am no fan of Iran. But Jesus Christ, on a rubber crutch, come on. Do y'all really believe that Iran or Russia can do anything against the United States? Or anything that paints Syria in a favorable light? It gets banned, knocked down. And this is what goes on here. There is censorship across the board. Yeah, listen, the left needs to support free speech, and we need to be free speech zealots for our public relations reasons and for our self-preservation. Cheering on governments and corporations for silencing our enemies would just bite us in the ass. While there are people around claiming that Silicon Valley are socialists, they're not. Are they right wing? No. I mean, they're neoliberals. They don't hate black people. They don't hate brown people. They don't hate gay people. They don't hate Muslims. They're all tolerant and good vibes, and we're just lovey-dovey toward each other. And I'm not making fun. They are that. It's a good thing that they're that, but they're also tied to the same people that the most repugnant of right-wing Republicans are tied to, and that is big business, corporate special interests, military-industrial complex, and all that is wrong where these corporations and the military-industrial complex and all of these entities pretty much control both most Democrats and most Republicans. So to the left, don't cheer that shit. And here's another thing: we look weak in our public relations and our leftist projects, our leftist struggle gets undermined because if we sit there and cheerlead, let's say Tom Tancredo, former Congressman Tom Tancredo of Colorado, when he was at UNC several years ago, and the leftist social justice war types were doing everything they could to drown out his speaking. Let me tell you, I despise Tom Tancredo. I despise him with a great passion. But you know what? The left just look weak. It look like we can't take it. So we got to go and silence people we don't like. We end up looking authoritarian, and we end up looking like a bunch of weak ass pussies. Pardon my sexism there. And we lose in the public relations. And the right looks confident, stronger, and they win in the public relations. I'm tired of that shit. And and here's the thing: the truth be it, that many on the right, not all people on the right and the left when it comes to free speech, there is a similarity on both sides. Most people on the right, as well as most people on the left, truthfully, are against free speech. There are also people on the right, and there are definitely people on the left who favor absolute free speech. I'm not talking about on the right. You got to be careful about who claims they're for free speech, because when Richard Spencer goes around claiming he's for free speech, we know he's not. He's even said that himself. But then he goes around and acts like he's a victim. Now, I don't like Richard Spencer. I don't agree with him in any way, shape, or form. His racism, his anti-Semitism, his his extreme anti-immigration, pro-ethnic nationalist national state mindset is all everything that defines what being repugnant is about. exposing him for what he is the greatest way to discredit him. And so there's where I stand. The left needs to favor free speech, or we're going to continue to lose when it comes right down to it. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you were repulsed or triggered, comment anyway. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you that if you have a platform and you're passionate about something, utilize it. If you don't have a platform, create such a platform. If you're passionate about something, utilize it, because we're all the muckrakers of our time. And most importantly, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I am American Social Democracy, peace, and Bernie Sanders for president in the year 2024.